Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the virtual public informational meeting for state project numbers 113, 111, replacement of bridge number 5520 on Parks Road over Broad Brook, and project number 113-112, replacement of bridge number 06085 on Cooktown Road over Unnamed Brook in the town of Preston. In order to use captions and subtitles in Zoom, there is a bar on the bottom that you can click the button that says Show Captions CC, where you can then select the speaking language and select the language you would like from the list shown. Closed captioning, including the English translation options, are available on YouTube following the live event. This is a slide regarding Title VI civil rights. No person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project. We highly encourage you to fill out the post-meeting survey located at the QR code and hyperlink shown. And there is also a link to the department's Office of Equity Title VI Civil Rights page. A recording of this presentation will be posted to CTDOT's YouTube channel after the event, and closed captioning is available on Zoom and on YouTube. This is another slide on Title VI through the Department's Office of Equity. And the same slide in Spanish. To reach out to us, you can send us an email at dot-flbp@ct.gov, by phone at 860-594-2020, which is a monitored voicemail line. And during this Zoom live event, there will be a Q&A. And we also encourage you to access the project webpage located at the hyperlink shown. Following the public info, there will be a live comment period for 2 weeks, which will end on June 4th, 2025. And the Zoom Q&A is only available during this live event. But please use these resources to ask us a question, any question that you may have. During the live Q&A, if you want to ask us a question, on the dialog bar below, you can select the Zoom Q&A tool, and then the window will pop up. You can type in your question and then click enter. And if you're on a call-in, you can dial *9 to raise and lower your hand. My name is Mark Burns, and I'm in the picture in the middle. I'm the Federal Local Bridge Program Manager. Also representing the CTDOT project team is Derek Lassard, Division Chief of Bridges, Michelle Rain, Project Engineer, and Zachary Garino, representing the Office of Rights of Way. Representing the Consultant Liaison Engineer, or CLE team, who's taken the project up to this point, is VHB, Mark Levesque, Program Manager, and Jonathan Corelli, Project Engineer. When we receive design approval following this public info and comment period, SLR International will be the design consultant for final design for both projects. I will now turn this over to the first selectwoman, Sandra Allen Gauthier, for an opening statement.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And I want to thank the Connecticut DOT team. We're excited about these projects. We've received 100% funding, which totaled about $5.4 million. These two bridges would have been included in our capital plan. So that's a savings to the local residents here. So we're appreciative of that. We've also been included in the design and aesthetics of the bridges, and which helped us protect the rural integrity and historical aspects, which I know is very important to the community. Also ensuring safety and longevity of these. So we look forward to starting these projects and getting them underway. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandra. I will now turn it over to John Corelli for the formal presentation. John?
Thank you, and just thank you, Sandra, for the introduction. Just to see if some of the town of Preston contacts, if you wanted to contact the town directly, we'll be showing multiple times throughout the presentation the different ways to contact the Connecticut Department of Transportation team for this project. So I'll get right into it. And the project purpose and need. The purpose these projects, both 113, 111, and 113, 112, are to replace bridge numbers 5520 and 6085 due to their structural and functional deficiencies in order to provide structures that are in a state of good repair and that are capable of meeting current load rating standards, as well as allow the existing clapper stone and stone masonry arch bridges beneath to remain in place. Here's a slide just showing the relative location of the two bridges. Bridge 5520 just off of Connecticut Route 164, north of the center of town, and then Bridge 6085 closer to Route 2 in the south of Preston. Just a little bit closer view for 5520, again, just right off of Connecticut Route 64. This is an aerial of the project site, as you know, on the north approach here. There's a slight horizontal curvature that joins at the bridge. Broadbrook, which it crosses, flows from the east to the west through the structure. There's one property with a driveway adjacent to the southwest corner of the bridge. Following are a couple photos showing Parks Road. Again, the horizontal curvature approaching the bridge. And then here's the bridge from the north approach, again with the driveway in the southwest corner of the bridge. Now looking at the upstream fascia, the upstream you can see the existing stone clapper bridge, the original construction of the bridge. And this is the upstream channel. It enters at the structure approximately about a 45-degree angle. And downstream it exits more perpendicular to the roadway. As you can see, there's reinforced concrete slabs that had been added at a later point. The picture on the right is of the downstream channel. So for Bridge 5520, it was originally constructed in the year 1900, and then approximately 1960 is when they added the reinforced concrete slabs. The structure is currently eligible for the National Register of Historic Places, so that's an important aspect of what we recommend and what we're presenting here for a replacement at the site. It currently carries a total travelway width of 21 feet with one lane of travel in each direction. Total of 148 vehicles use this crossing per day. The flow area, which goes beneath this crossing, accommodates this 12.1 square miles of drainage area. And the current structure is rated a 5 on a scale of 0 to 9, which is, in this case, is fair. Some of the conditions involve heavy scale along the reinforced concrete slabs, cracks and voids throughout the stones. Again, for the age of the structure, this is fairly normal. Loose filler stones as well. It's a dry stack stone masonry, so there's naturally going to be voids between the stones. Slight bulging within the existing wing walls, minor scour below the water line, and then all throughout the bridge, and then on the approaches, this disconnected post, bent post along the roadway and for the guide rail. So this site, and it'll actually be very similar for Bridge 6085 as well, we're proposing to build a new structure over top of the existing structure. It'll be all along the existing alignment horizontally. The bridge itself, the existing bridge is, you can see here in yellow with the pier in the center, the two yellow portions on the outside. The orange represents the new structure, so it would be both longer and wider than the existing just to meet standards. And it's going to be longer than the existing bridge in order for us to set back the foundation of the structure away from any of the stone masonry that's there currently to preserve it. And to also, again, provide that wider structure which we need. In order for us to build over top of the existing structure, we're going to have to raise the roadway. And in order to do that, there will be additional fill on both of the approaches that represents all the area here in brown on the outside. This grading is minimized to the extent possible just to basically support the new roadway. And again, the goal is to provide a structure that allows the existing clapper stone masonry bridge to stay in place. In elevation and section, this is what the bridge will look like in section as you're driving over it. It's going to accommodate 2 10-foot travel lanes and 2 2-foot shoulders, with the shoulders being slightly wider to accommodate the horizontal curvature on the north approach. There'll be full depth roadway reconstruction to match into the new elevated section of roadway. We're going to have what's called reinforced concrete integral abutment, so they essentially works as one large structural unit across over top of the existing structure, so that it is completely independent of what's there currently. We'll be using drilled micropiles instead of standard steel piles to minimize vibrations and again to preserve the existing structure. The existing structure again is shown here in yellow with the proposed in orange. So basically you can see right here also to the dash line is the existing roadway profile. So we're looking to build entirely on top of it without disturbing any of the existing material, again for the preservation of the existing structure. I mentioned that we're going to be raising the roadway profile in order to accomplish this. Currently the bridge itself is actually in a low point or a sag point. So this is not a good condition for both drainage and for the long-term preservation of the structure. For this, we're proposing again to raise and build over the existing structure, which will also allow us to move the low point from off the bridge to provide better drainage away from the structure for the long-term survivability of both the new proposed structure and the existing clapper stone bridge. Again, that provides that constant slope for the improved drainage. To complete construction of this bridge, typically for these types of projects, so long as the contractor is proven ready and capable of doing the work, we typically allow them to close this road for the entire construction season, which typically begins in April and ends in late November. And this allows the contractor to essentially complete all the work to get the highest quality product possible and to do it in the least amount of time. So for this, we're proposing a detour which utilizes a combination of state and local roads. For this, our bridge here, 5520, is here in the lower right, would utilize Parks Road, which turns into Browning Road, and then Terry Road, Connecticut Route 64, and then back up to Parks Road. Again, the detour, so long as the contractor is proven ready and they have work to do, they will close the roadway and replace the structure. So that's the first part of the presentation for State Project 113-111. I'm going to transition straight into the presentation for the second project, and then we'll be holding the Q&A session after that, just in case there's anybody who wants to see both projects and then leave. But during this, while I'm giving the presentation for the second project, you can still reach us by email, by dot.flbp@ct.gov. By phone at 860-594-2020, through the Zoom Q&A, which is live at the moment. And then there's more information available, as you see some of the presentation slides material on our project webpage, which is http://portal.ct.gov/DOT-PRESTON-0113. And just note that the comment period is open through June 4th, and the live Q&A is only available during this session. So now I'm going to transition straight into the second project. It's going to be very similar to what we saw for 5520. So Bridge 6085 is further south into town, a little bit closer to Route 2, as you can see here in the center. And with the aerial view, north in this case, this is up this time. There is a slight horizontal curvature as it approaches the bridge from the west. The unnamed brook flows from the north to the south. There is also a driveway entrance here in the southeast corner of the bridge this time. On this photo here is on the left is the bridge from the west approach. You notice that there is a load posting sign here in front of the bridge currently. This load posting sign was actually revised back in October of 2024. So it has changed since then. The town has posted it. On the right here is the bridge from the east approach. You know, in the foreground, which is the southeast corner of the bridge, as there is one driveway entrance. Following is the north elevation. Occasionally there is beavers do construct a dam on the upstream face of this bridge fairly frequently. And to the right is the upstream channel. Looking downstream, you see the foundation of an old mill structure. That's where the basis of a lot of how this bridge was formed and placed and why it exists originally. And this is the downstream channel from the bridge itself. Looking at the existing conditions for the structure, it was originally built in 1988, and what we say by built in 1988 was actually just this glulam timber deck structure that's over top, and this essentially serves as the primary load carrying bridge for this crossing. So this is what we were looking to replace as part of this project. The stone masonry arch underneath is also potentially eligible for the National Register of Historic Places. So again, preservation of it is a very important aspect of this project. The current crossing supports a travelway width of 18.2 feet with one lane in each direction and services a total of 122 vehicles per day. The drainage area for this crossing is 2.4 square miles, and as I mentioned, the load posting was revised to the following signs back in October. Looking at the condition of the existing structure, it's very similar to 5520, at least the stone masonry portion of it, where you have some sloughing of stones into the channel, some voids in the filler stones, a little bit of leaning in the wing wall. I know through the majority of this happened through one of the last hurricanes that went through the state. And then the deck, which is the primary component being replaced, has check splits, and there's some misalignment of the members. Once again, the metal guide rail that you see on the bridge above the approaches do have some broken, decayed, and disconnected posts. Similarly with 5520, we're proposing to build a structure of almost the exact same size. Across it, you'll see the existing stone masonry structure, the abutments for it here in yellow, the new structure here in orange to span across it. Again, providing a slightly wider structure just to match a standard width dictated by federal guidelines, design guidelines. Once again, we will be raising the roadway to span over top the existing structure without disturbing it, which will require some grading on both sides of the roadway, which is represented here again in brown. This, once again, will be minimized to just that necessary to support the new raised roadway. And again, we're going for a slightly longer structure so that we can set the foundations back enough so that we don't disturb any of the existing stone masonry that's there currently. Looking in elevation and section, as I said, for this structure, we'll be supporting two 9-foot lanes with two 2-foot shoulders on each side. Once again, we'll be building it over atop the existing structure, which is represented here in yellow. One additional thing that will be done for this project is there is this existing timber structure. You can see here at the dashed lines. That and these reinforced concrete stub abutments of which it's sitting on will be removed, just to remove any traces of the existing timber structure. Again, the integral abutments, so this works as one large structural unit to span over the existing structure, and the drill micropiles to avoid the disturbance to the existing stone masonry when installing the foundation. This is what the alterations to the roadway profile will look. It's basically, for the most part, a shift vertical of about 2 feet. This will also allow us to eliminate, there's a current sag point on the bridge itself, again, which is not optimal for drainage and for long-term health of the existing structure. So by raising the roadway up to only about 2 feet this time, we're providing a constant slope across the bridge. We're able to build over the existing structure and then provide better drainage at a more optimal point off of the structure. Similarly, for this project, if the contractor is able to prove that they're ready to complete the work that they need to do to replace this bridge, we would allow the contractor to close the roadway for the duration of the construction season, which again is typically 8 months. The detour for this site is 3.5 miles. Bridge 6085 is here in the center, and this would utilize Cooktown Road, Watson Road, Connecticut Route 2, Connecticut Route 164, and then back on Cooktown Road again. Again, the duration would be approximately 8 months. Looking at utilities and environmental permits for both sites, there are aerial utilities within project limits at both sites, which will need to either be temporary or permanently relocated during construction to allow the contractor access with cranes to install the new structural members for the site. For environmental permits, because both of these bridges are within FEMA Flood Zone A, there will have to be a flood management certification memorandum of understanding to document what's being done at both of these sites. And for other environmental permitting, all of the construction activities are taking place outside of any wetlands or ordinary high water line. So the only thing else that would be required for environmental permits are town of Preston and the wetland permits, just for the upland impacts only. For rights of way, we are going to be raising the roadway, and as mentioned, there's going to be some additional fill that needs to be placed to support the new roadway. For these two graphics, I've added the current street right-of-way lines here in red. So we will require any slope easements outside of the areas here in red. These are just conservative estimates at the moment of what those areas would be based off of the early conceptual design. Again, they're limited to the minimal amount to actually support the roadway. There'll also need to be the right to reconstruct driveways to accommodate the raised roadway section. So see there's 2 driveways here. Again, the limits shown are conservative and they may be adjusted during design. And then temporary construction easements for the contractor to complete the work, and also likely to have the temporary utility pole locations. Those will likely also be within the areas that you see here in brown, because the contractor does have to have access to these areas to perform the grading. So those will also likely serve as the temporary construction easement areas during construction as well. So as you see, basically for the most part in all 4 quadrants of both bridges is where we will need those slope easements. Now we'll turn it over to Zachary Guarino from the Connecticut Department of Transportation Division of Rights-of-Way Office to just go over the rights-of-way process in a little more detail.
Thanks, John. Again, my name is Zachary Guarino. I'm a project coordinator with the Department's Division of Rights-of-Way. Our office is responsible for acquiring the property rights that are needed for the transportation projects. And as John had mentioned in the presentation, this project will require the acquisition of property rights, so I'd like to give a brief overview of our acquisition process. Before I begin, I'd like to mention that the specific impacts are still being finalized and they may change as the design progresses, and that any required property rights will be acquired in accordance with Connecticut General Statute Sections 13A73, 13A98E, as well as the Uniform Act. I'm going to change the slide. So the right-of-way acquisition process begins once the design has progressed to a development milestone and all the impacts have been determined. At this point, each affected property owner will receive a formal letter of intent to acquire from our office, along with a property map which depicts the exact property rights to be acquired. And on the screen here is an example of a property map that an owner may receive. It shows the existing conditions as well as the proposed improvements. Our office will then determine the fair market value of those property rights which are depicted on the map and use it to establish an offer of just compensation. That offer will be sent out to the property owner in writing, and a right-of-way agent will be available to meet with the property owner and explain the project, go over the specific impacts to their property, and explain how the state arrived at its offer. The property owner would be given a reasonable amount of time, typically 30 days, to consider the state's offer and enter into negotiations. When an agreement is reached, the department will prepare all the necessary paperwork to record the deed and property map on the town land records. However, if an agreement cannot be reached, in order to keep on schedule, the department may acquire the necessary property rights to its power of eminent domain. In that event, the state files a notice of condemnation in the Superior Court along with a monetary deposit in the amount of the state's offer. The owner would have 6 months from that date to file an appeal if they felt that the state's offer was inadequate. Whether the owner chooses to appeal, the money deposited in the court is available to be drawn by the owner. And it's important to note that the state only acquires property rights that are specific for this project. If there are any questions regarding the right-of-way acquisition process, I can answer them after the presentation. With that, I'm going to hand it back over to John. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. So just have one more slide to wrap up this presentation. This is the construction cost and project schedule. The current construction cost for State Project 113-111, which is the replacement of Bridge 5520 Parks Road over Broad Brook, is currently showing $2.8 million. For State Project 113-112, which is a replacement of Bridge 6085, Cooktown Road over Unnamed Brook, the current cost is showing $2.63 million. As for the project schedule, you'll have a current design completion date of August 12th, 2026, with an advertising date to contractors on September 9th, 2026, with an anticipated start of construction on April 1st, 2027, and to be completed by the end of that construction season on November 30th, 2027. And that concludes the presentation for both state projects 113-111 and 113-112. We will be available now for a question and answer session. You can reach us again by email at dot-flbp@ct.gov, by phone at 860-594-2020, through the Zoom Q&A session, which is live currently right now. We'll be here for a little while longer as well. And through the project webpage, you can find more information as to contact us and more information about the project in general at http://portal.ct.gov/dot-preston-0113. The comment period will be open through June 4th, 2025. And the live Q&A session, again, we'll be here for a little longer to field any questions that you may have. Thank you for this opportunity to present these projects to you.
Thank you, John. We'll now turn over to the question and answer session. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the Zoom Q&A or to email us or reach out by phone. If you have a question that comes up later on in your head, then feel free to send us an email. The comment period is open through June 4th.
As of now, we don't have any questions, but I do want to mention that if you leave us a message by phone, please leave a voicemail and please reference the project number in your voicemail. So project number 0113-0111 or project number 0113-0112. And I have posted the project webpage in the chat, so you can access that there as well. Still no questions as of now, but like Mark and John said, the comment period is open until Wednesday, June 4th. And so if you have no questions tonight, but you think of something later on, you can send us a question to our email, dot.flbp@ct.gov, or leave us a voicemail at 860-594-2020. And that's until Wednesday, June 4th. But we'll stay here for a few more minutes. I do apologize. I temporarily posted the wrong website, but I just fixed it and put the right one in there. Okay, seeing no questions, we're going to wrap this up. But again, the comment period is open through Wednesday, June 4th, and you can send your questions or comments until that time is over by email at dot-flbp@ct.gov, or leave us a voicemail at 860-594-2020. Please reference the project number in your voicemail. The project numbers are 0113-0111 or project number 0113-0112. And with that, I hope you all have a great night. And Sandra, thank you for joining us and for your support.
Thank
Take care,
you.
everyone.
Thank you,
Have a
everyone.
good night.
Take
You
care.
too.
Yeah, guys, thank you.
Thanks, Tom.